Hello, everyone. My name is Drinks Glue. Hold on one second. I got a phone call. Yeah, hello. Yeah, hemorrhoid rights, please. Okay, thank you. All right. Hello again. My name is Drinks Glue. Joining me tonight in the broadcast booth is Sigil. Is Physics Shebang, is Dragon Lady K. I'm gonna turn it over to them.
Hey
Good
yo.
afternoon. Welcome in everybody to Final Fantasy VI Worlds Collide. I'm joined in here with Dragon Lady K. Okay, how are we doing tonight?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm looking forward to this matchup. Like really. So what kind of things are we really looking for tonight? You're really the man with the information, I feel.
Oh, what are we looking for tonight? Well, tonight we're going to be seeing a race between Sigil and Ceres Rose. They're going to be doing our Goddess flag set today. This is a part of our War of the Magi monthly event that our glorious restreamer Drinks Glue has thrown together. How familiar are you with the Goddess flag sets?
I mean, I'm somewhat familiar, but I obviously will probably need a refresher somewhere in there. These three flat sets have really given me a little bit of a run for my money, but they've been a lot of fun. It has definitely been something interesting to get into.
Yeah, definitely. These flag sets are all sort of based around the template of Ultras League, but with a plethora of changes to them. So in this case, we're going to be looking at a 4-character start as opposed to a 3-character start. We have unlock with 7 characters, 10 espers, as opposed to the usual 6, 9. In this case, the skip is a range, but for this one, we're going to be looking at an 8-character skip, which is really desirable, a 14 esper skip, or a 21 check skip. So 8 characters or 21 checks is fantastic.
I mean, it
Really,
really
really
is.
good.
I'd be going for those 8 characters in a heartbeat if I could find them. That's so close to what you need just for an unlock. One step ahead.
Exactly. This one does throw a few tricks at us. When you get 7 checks in this seed, you'll automatically get Overcast and Condemned. Overcast is going to make you a zombie when you die, while Condemned is going to put a timer over your head that counts down. Once it counts down, you die. So Phoenix Downs after that point are not really that useful, while Revivifies become very useful to get rid of the zombie status, which can be extremely detrimental, especially if multiple characters die at once. So, weight tricking is going to be the name of the game here.
Oh, absolutely. Not to mention, as far as I remember, for these goddess flags, the only elemental spell that we're going to have any access to, aside from using items, is going to be Bolt 3. Am I correct?
You are correct. All fire and ice spells are going to be gone here. But there's a few really good things about this flag set that's really good to keep in mind. Characters in general are going to be stronger here with higher stats. Their abilities are better as well. So shock is included, but runic, steel, and health are gone. Espers are stronger with multi-summon, and you get more magic points from fights. So there's a lot of things that are really, really good here. We got a sword tech, lore, throw, and slot, which is insane. That is a fantastic start. So we have no shortage of offense here. One thing that we need to keep in mind in these seeds, there's 4 characters, so the route divergence that we're probably going to see here is going to be extreme. Although we are both starting in Narsh, which is interesting.
I mean, that's a good way to start. You can kind of get your ideas together, look at things. Generally, that looting phase, especially if you're starting right there in Narcissus first place, is pretty cut and dry. So you can kind of think of where your pathing is going to be. Where do you think we're going to see first with these two?
Well, one thing that I didn't notice about this, or didn't mention about this flag set, is that the scaling is different. Typical scaling is level gets increased by 2 every time you do a character, an S, or you find a character, or an Esper, or you kill a dragon. In these flag sets, it's actually increased by 2.5, and it's by check. So each check you do increases it, whether it's dead or not. So a big question for our runners here is going to be how many checks are they willing to do before they start taking fights. With the offense that they have, I feel like they are perfectly open to take a good amount of free checks, of which there are 2 available at minimum, with Gao's dad with Shadow and Kolingen with Setzer. So I assume they're probably going to go check those out and just get going. As I said, we have throw. We just saw some bolt edges on Ceres' side. So really, if we could find a couple earrings, we're basically just ready to start throwing
And we
until we
actually
finish.
already did some earrings. The earrings were actually in the relic shop here, so they are already set for that.
Wow. So yeah, we are going to be extremely powerful early. Sari's doing the extra looting over at Returners, which I don't blame her. I don't believe that we really need a ton of power to get this seed started. What with the amount of power that our abilities have and the fact that we have earrings, but we do want to loot for money. So that's probably what they're doing. A throw start does require a good amount of money to be able to use consistently.
That
So
is true.
I would take the free checks, as many as possible, and then just go throw things until I win the game. Where would you be at?
You know, that's kind of I'm watching Sigil as well and seeing kind of where he's looting. He just actually saw some nice throwables there as well, getting a second element. Generally with throw, especially since they found the earrings first, I would probably be doing my looting, like you said, trying to get that money up because shuriken are great, and those are probably a little better closer to end game if you can manage to boost up your strength on your throw person. But being able to have those elements and having multiples just in case you come across some stuff that may absorb that bolt, that's invaluable, and they're not as cheap as your shuriken. So that's probably what I'd be doing, looting and making sure I had that money available to get what I needed.
Definitely. I did also see that slots exist here. How do you feel about slots? Is that a thing that you enjoy seeing, or do you get fed up when you see it because you're going to mugu mugu all day?
I was gonna say, I mean, I like to be excited about it whenever it's really nice to me, but that Mugu Mugu, that bunny is my friend apparently, and really likes to visit me often.
Well, at least you get plenty of healing for free, I suppose.
I mean, the heals are definitely useful, especially starting off, but then after that, it's a hit or miss. But again, slots,
Definitely.
you're taking that gamble. I would rather have my items available to throw and hit everybody on the board with elemental stuff than to try my luck at slots.
Understandable. I am one of the strong believers in slots. I love them. I have found a way to make them consistent, and I'm trying to spread the word to those who don't like it on the tactics to do so. So if you're interested, you let me know. I can't describe it properly, but I can demonstrate it at any time. But with this much magic offense and all area effect magic offense, it really does make it safe. And it looks like Ceres is making the choice to do both of the free checks, just at a slightly different route than Sigil. So yeah, we're going all in on free checks. And we have Sabin, which that is another free check that's also peakable with World of Ruin Zen. But more importantly, we have Imperial Camp for our grind fights with no boss to get the seed started. So really, the stars have aligned early for our runners here to get their looting done as quickly as possible and just get rolling into checks.
Absolutely. I can't wait to see where our checks will go. I imagine we will see quite a few of Saban's checks. Those are usually fairly quick. They're right there in line, so it's great for routing. And like you said, being able to start off with Imperial Camp to get those grind fights is fantastic because you're getting your check done and you're getting the experience that you need to keep you rolling through the seed.
Agreed. So not much can be said about the rest of the characters, though. We're gonna have a bit of an issue if who's gonna do Floating Continent first, if anybody. Sigil is kind of a proponent of doing it earlier than later, so there's a good chance if he doesn't find anything with Sabin that he's just gonna send it early. So it'll be interesting to see if they both do it or if only one does. I'm not sure exactly how Ceres likes to do it.
I was about to say, I don't know that I've seen her take Floating Continent quite as often, but I can tell you that both of these players are going to do everything they can to avoid the Burning House. If we see Burning House at some point tonight, it is probably going to be because they're last checking or they're really just trying to throw a wrench in and find something that maybe the other one would not find.
That's actually a good thing, a good point to make, is sometimes in these races, you see somebody throwing in some wild strats to try to get a leg up on their opponents. But I think that these two are extremely evenly matched. So it'll be really interesting to see. I don't know that either of them will take a serious risk like they would against someone who could be significantly more advanced than them. So I wonder if we're going to even see any of those risky plays or if it's going to be pretty much business as usual. I think the real divider here is going to be that floating continent play. I'm fairly certain we're going to see Sigil run it if he doesn't find anything in the immediate Sabin checks.
And that really would be a good play because, you know, with floating continent, especially if you can get it early, you figure that's 2 guaranteed progression points. So if you're already needing characters, you're still needing, you know, more espers, it's not going to hurt. Whatever you get from there is probably going to be useful. So in a lot of cases, if you can take it, despite the fact that it takes a while, it may be better to take that one earlier and go ahead and get some of that extra progression as long as you can get the levels that you're not going to get swamped.
I agree. And like I mentioned earlier, the scaling is strictly by checks in this. So the earlier you do it, the safer it'll be if you have the offense to pull it off, which I think with the abilities that we saw, they definitely do have the abilities to pull it off. Another thing to bring up, I guess, that's really contentious is going to be Fanatic's Tower. Goddess does have stronger magic spells and also has stronger espers and has faster learning of magic. So that might be a hot spot as well that they'll want to hop into as early as possible once they get some magic under their belt to just knock that out if the peak looks like something they want to do. It takes a little while, but it is guaranteed progression, a dragon, and a high tier item in one check. So it really works good, especially if you're looking for that check skip.
Absolutely. Of course, I feel like with Fanatic's Tower, especially in these War of the Magi, I get a little bit worried myself, really, that I'm going to wind up with an enemy that is going to absorb the only spell I can use. So I'd imagine if you're talking about the spells that they get into the belt, that maybe if they can get something that, you know, like Flare, that they can actually have a different element other than just Bolt in this case, would probably
Definitely
help drive them there faster.
I'm going to interrupt you for just a moment. Zen has an offering, an experience egg, and an economizer for sale. So Ceres Rose is the first one to find the absolute insane shop, it looks like. I'm not 100% sure where Sigil is. He might actually be in that same area. Yeah, he is. So they're both in the same shop at the same time. Sigil rolling out that experience egg early, which is a fantastic move, especially because we have a sword tech user. So we can consider throwing that on the sword tech user and get them going quickly. Additionally, an 1800 cost Esper from the Zen Thief. So these two really are going all the way in their progression before they get started.
I would be a liar if I said that I did not wish that my seeds were this friendly. I mean, that was like hitting Christmas early with that shop. The only thing they have to worry about at this point is finding a way to get money. A cat hood would be fantastic right about now with all of those goodies in that relic shop.
For sure. Sigil also is my previous mentee, and he is a risky player even compared to me. So he's willing to sell every bit of everything he has for the things he needs. So he sold a lot of armor, he sold some consumables, and everything that was necessary in order to get that experience egg and buy some fire skeins. So he now has some additional elemental coverage to get by the problem that you had mentioned of something absorbing bolt, and you have no options to get around it. So he has that coverage now. Sari's doing the Zen Crumbling House, which, again, she's going all in on the all checks, all free checks, pump that scaling up hard, which is actually what I like to do as well, especially with a start like this. Sigil's playing a little more safe and heading straight to Imperial Camp. So let's see how those random encounters treat him.
Now, one of the things about him selling all of that armor at this point, one of the points with Goddess actually is that a lot of our items, our high tier items that we would get in our dead checks, a lot of that stuff is armor. So what he just sold, he may get back pretty easily when it comes to the dead checks that he may find, because there's quite a bit of armor available in Goddess.
That is an amazing point. So selling armor early, as long as you can get through the fight, which this is not what you want to see. Use a warp stone if you have to.
Fortunately, it's like he has smoke bombs.
Yeah. Oh, he's gonna die anyway. So acid rain got through first. Oh no, he's gonna get out. Maybe. Ooh, he actually had a chance to do a smoke bomb. But yeah, that is not a fight you want to see. Those retainers are disgusting. I'm curious if he's going to try again, or if maybe he's going to take a grind fight outside. Let's see what he chooses.
Fortunately, in this case, it looks like he's going to be taking that grind fight. You know your Minty well. But otherwise, I mean, being this early in the seed, that was fortunately quick enough. At least he wasn't, further in taking those last few fights and running into that. So hopefully this will give him the boost he needs.
Exactly. And I know that he recently had a mentoring session with Golden Shocker. And Golden Shocker did mention that sometimes it is worth it just to go ahead and roll through a grind fight outside if you have to, which in this case was an obvious time where you probably want to do that. Did he have to? Not necessarily. If he could just get that smoke bomb off before getting wombo comboed like that, he could get through it. The rest of the 3 fights there are going to be 2 different formations, not the one that he fights up front. So he doesn't have to worry about doing it again. But he just fought the Harpy Eyes and Deep Eyes, so he is going to have a lot of experience from that fight, can just heal up and go straight in. Like, he's straight up to level 9 and 11 now, so heal up, save, and go do it. He'll survive whatever they throw at him, and he can continue right along. So a bit of a bump in the road, but I think he got through it just fine.
On the other side of the screen, we have Cerise going through and trying to find some more things. Looks like she's looting some more. Obviously, as you've been able to see here, and for those who don't know, Figaro is one of those special places, or at least South Figaro, that the checks that are outside of all of the buildings actually refill. So you can loot through in the world of balance, and then you can go back and loot through in the world of ruin. So if you're looking for some extra stuff, some extra loot, that's a really good way to do it. It's fairly quick, and you got those shops there to be able to hit as well, so there's no telling what you'd be able to find if you're really hurting for some kind of offense.
100%. It's worth it to note, though, that the basement does not refill, so if you do go into both South Figaro's, just remember it's the outside chests that refill, but very good information to know about South Figaro, because the loot is right up front, easy to get, great money, and it's just a good check to go to. I am actually a little surprised that Ceres is still looting. Probably really trying to rack up that money to stack up on experience eggs. So we'll see if that's where she's going to go next.
Well, right now, from what I was looking there, she picked up a few more earrings. I think she's trying to up her magic offense as well, which, granted, with the starts that we have, if she's looking at the possibility of stunner strats, especially like you mentioned with having someone with the experience egg and the sword tech, that may be an option.
Yeah, and it's not a bad thing to use early either, because Sword Tech 1 does ignore offense or ignore defense. So it can be really useful to have early on. I think, did I see 2 experience eggs? Just 1, I think. So, ooh, that was Flare and Ultima on that first Esper I just saw. Ceres hit it really fast on Ifrit, but it's a burner of an Esper. We might be blowing some bubbles today. We have an Economizer and Ultima ready to learn. We have increased magic power. So if this was me, being that Ultima increased magic power gain, I'm going to kill dragons as fast as I possibly can. I want to go kill a couple dragons, learn that Ultima right away, buy that Economizer, and blow bubbles for the rest of the seed. At least until I get something a little faster, but that just cooks everything until mid-game or longer.
Absolutely, and of course with this seed, you figure there's not as many big sticks to find. So being able to have, what is it we always say? Everything is weak to the blue bubble. So you're going to be able to clear fields really quickly.
Definitely. Now, I'm not 100% sure if Ceres found that Esper from Crumbling House, though, in World of Ruin Zen. I have to look at Sigil's Espers and see if he has Ifrit. If not, Ceres might have gotten the leg up by doing that check sooner. Let's see how Ceres, if she's able to get out of this fight before getting blasted.
Looks like we just got confirmation in chat that Ifrit was absolutely in Collapsing House. So she has definitely got a leg up going here. And looks like she got that smoke bomb off. So that was also another bonus. She's not losing time to that nasty fight.
That is true. She'll be gaining some time there. She's also very much going to be gaining time as soon as she gets that Ultima. As long as she has the money to buy an Economizer. Like, the seed is solved as soon as an Economizer can be purchased and Ultima is learned. So we'll see. Sigil also, both of them are following very similar paths in a slightly different order. He also swung by Narsh and just picked up some extra earrings to kick off that offense to start. But I think, unless something goes crazy, that early Ultima is going to be a deciding factor in this seed.
Absolutely. So I guess we'll have to see. I'm wondering what's going to be here in Barren Falls, but obviously it's probably one of the easiest bosses. So this is going to be a cakewalk.
Yeah, kind of has bolt 3 and also has bolt edges, so I don't think old tunnel armor is going to stand a chance here. In chat, Jazer also mentioned that since offerings are in a shop, we don't have to worry about doing monsters in a box. We can just purchase it if something comes up. So that will save time for both of our runners going forward, not having to worry about it. Although, Katana Soul will be looking really good for money right now because experience eggs and economizers in shops that's a lot of money that's necessary. This is a this is a money seed for sure.
Well, and that's kind of one of those questions, or at least it begs the question in this situation. Would you actually be looking for that? I feel like I would be more worried about losing time on my monsters and boxes with how many different ones there are and different options, looking for that one katana soul for the hope for that money. But look, we got a cat hood. Looks like Sigil's going to be trying to rack up some money as quickly as possible. Looks like he's going to have the upper hand if he can get some really good fights to boost that money up and possibly get himself another experience egg, or like you said, that economizer if he happens to go to Collapsing House and finds that Esper with Ultima on it.
We still have no character, so I would not be surprised if he goes to the floating continent really soon for those battles. But he's probably going to go to Zen. Oh no, he's going to do... Okay. He's doing the Velt Cave for Shadows check to see if he can get something here. Not a bad choice. But to answer your question, no, I would not be looking for Katana Soul. But some people may, and it's definitely an option that you can consider if you really need money and you have a monster in the box along the way. It might be something you want to do. So always good to keep an eye on different strats that may be useful to you. But not for me, no.
It looks like Cerise is about to get the good news. Yeah, absolutely. It would be FC time. These players absolutely have fantastic offense. This would be a really good time to do it before your scaling gets higher and it becomes nastier having to beat those two bosses before you even hit the island.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised to see that Sigil didn't just pop in there the second he got a cat hood. Since now's the time. You could do it right now, you can get a bunch of experience in gold, buy the things that you need, and roll with it, but it looks like Ceres isn't doing it either, so... Oh, I think she is going for Ebbets. That is an interesting twist.
It is, but I'm looking at Sigil's screen right now, and I'm seeing what we lovingly call the Murder Child. Realm has high magic potential. And honestly, I'd probably be rolling her in pretty quickly for one of the other characters because her magic stats, along with the fact that, of course, we know that this is going to be a pretty magic-heavy seed, she would be absolutely invaluable.
100%. I'm sure one of the characters in here can go. Probably Sabin. I'm not sure what he has. I got to double check. He's got Throw, which is good if he can find a bunch of ninja stars or tack stars for sale. And probably you would want to have some vigor boosting espers as well. So Sabin has the highest natural vigor in the game in terms of that can have skills unlike Umaro. So early throwing stars is good, but late throwing stars is really only super viable if you could pump that vigor. So it's hard to determine if I'd want to get rid of him or potentially use him for a throw bot. Lore from Shadow might be worth getting rid of depending on the lores that are available.
Absolutely. I was kind of looking at the lores. It didn't seem like it was that great. So I guess I would also be looking at the stats at this point to see kind of where his magic is at. If his magic is just by some luck rolled a little higher than usual, then I might keep him. But and that's well, it looks like we're
gonna get back some of that
meeting
time.
some nastiness.
Yeah, that is not what you want to see early. Maybe if she had that Ultima ready, it's possible. There are options to deal with him this early. We have Sword Tech 1. We have throwing weapons at him. All those ignore defense and are 100% accuracy. We have slots. So other than that, the main thing that we'll want for him is going to be Ultima, which we don't know just yet. So resetting out of there, I think, is the right move. And we have an Esper at Fanatic's Tower. So, what is she doing here? I think she thought maybe she had Cyan. She does not have Cyan. All right, so we'll be following in Sigil steps to get Realm. Realm is interesting because that gives some grind fights as well. We can head over to Jador and do Owzer's Mansion. That has some grind fights in it to take advantage of that cat hood also. Where do you think you would go right now? Obviously, Floating Continent is an option, but where would you be thinking?
Honestly, I probably would be looking at Floating Continent. As we were talking, like trying to get that knocked out earlier is probably better, especially since you still have room that if every single one of those has some good fortune, that it is some kind of point of progression, you're just boosting yourself up to getting closer to that unlock. So I think that would probably be where I would go with, especially with the strength of the offense that we have here. And I'm sure in this case, we were talking about being happy to see Realm. I'm pretty sure Cerise is really excited now. Having Ultima and having Realm, it's going to be pretty easy choice for her as to who's going to get switched in.
Definitely. The choice is going to be where are they going to go afterwards. So, yeah, Sigil was curious if he was going to go for a dragon, but he still doesn't have Ultima, so he has not hit Zen yet. But he's going over to Owzer's. I think that's a fine choice also. It's a little bit long, but the grind fights are nice. It helps keep levels up, and it is the most recent character, meaning there is a higher chance that a character will be gated behind her. And we'd be hoping for a Cyan right about now.
Cyan would be fantastic. Obviously, his checks would be a lot faster, but it doesn't look like he's going into Owzer's. Okay, he's picked himself up some shuriken. I'm actually really curious to see where he goes now. He's got me a little bit on edge. I'm not sure.
He's just going to keep us guessing. Ooh, he's really investing in Sabin's throw. He threw... Oh, he is... Oh, he wanted to save, I suppose. So he's throwing the experience egg on Sabin as a thrower, so I think he is committed to having him as a throwbot at the end of the game. Which I can see that happening. He has naturally high vigor, and we do hope to find an Esper with some vigor-boosting capabilities as we continue along.
Absolutely. Even speed. Getting his speed up so that he can throw more often would be just as nice, but obviously having a strength plus Esper would be the dream right now.
I definitely agree. I'm curious to see where everybody else goes. Oh, are we going to see a Burning House play?
Well, that really would be good in terms of things, aside from the fact that it's a little bit longer. I mean, there are a lot of checks that Cerise currently still has available that would be kind of faster to move along, so it would be an interesting play to see.
It would be. I'm going to say I'm pretty doubtful. Ooh, Ogres are not what you want to see. There's a lot of pretty nasty random encounters in this seed.
Figures,
These
huh?
guys...
I mean, it gives you all the good things and then throws all the nasty guys at you.
Oh, yeah. We've seen ninjas and we've seen Ogres. And for those that don't know, Ogres can just cast zombie on multiple characters in a single turn. And 2 Ogres can just kill you in 1 round. So you can just get quad zombied and die before you can act. So it's just a good thing he was able to leave before they just started zombiting him to death. So really, really good to see. Okay, as mentioned, Realm is the most recent character, and typical logic goes that the most recent character you found in a seed, as in it's no longer Sphere 0, Realm was found Sphere 1, that typically will go into another character via one of their checks. That is not guaranteed, but it is a good way to determine what checks you may want to do based on what you need. If you're looking for characters, a good place to start is going to be your most recently found character. In this case, Realm, and we found ourselves in Edgar.
And quite frankly, I think I'd be happy to see that Edgar right about now. First of all, he has some good checks. There's the free check there on the throne if he decides to go that way. But also, I mean, this boss is not a bad one. I think I'd be happy to be seeing this right about now.
Without a doubt. He's also already in World of Ruin, so he can slap him in his party. I don't think he's been to World of Ruin South Figaro, so it wouldn't surprise me to see him put him in, go swing by World of Ruin South Figaro for those half-off goodies, and then maybe just go knock out Engine Room and the Throne, and then determine where he wants to go from there. He's already World of Ruin. It wouldn't hurt to swing by. Nope, he says no free goodies. But I do think he really does need to go get himself some Zen Thief, or some Zen for that free check for Sabin. Not sure if he's forgotten about it or if he's just saving it, but as a commentator, knowing Ultima is just chilling there, he could have learned it by now. Well, not quite, because the bosses have been pretty weak, but he could be on the way to it. So I'm hoping he gets that pretty soon.
Well, it's easier said than done sometimes. I mean, it could be that he's trying to save that free check for a little bit later, whenever he's looking for the last one or two things, especially since it's peekable. You know, you can go in, you see that it's not what you need, reset real quick, saved plenty of time.
Agreed. And again, we're sticking with the really easy bosses. The only boss we've really had that's been a challenge is Magi Master. Everything else has been quite simple. One-hit KOs, just no issues at all. And thankfully, Ceres knows where Magi Master is, so we don't have to worry about him anymore throughout the seed. The main concern will be Doomgaze.
I think at this point, I would probably be a little bit concerned personally. You figure, especially with your scaling getting higher up, now you've got those, in Sigil's case, you have the overcast, you have the countdown, and then you're looking at tougher bosses as you go along. I'd be sweating a little bit thinking about where things are going with my offense about now.
Yeah, I think he's investing heavily in throw, which can carry pretty hard with the save and throw or with shurikens, so that's definitely an option. But there is one other interesting thing about this flag sets that we haven't gone over just yet. The statues are not necessarily in their vanilla locations, but they are shuffled amongst their vanilla locations. So no matter how the seed goes, you must contend with 3 max level 50 scaled statues at the end of Kefka's Tower. So it's very imperative in this flag set that you have 3 good bruiser characters if you want to one-shot it and not have to rerun the tower.
Honestly, with our beginning setup, that's not too bad. You probably have 2 out of 3. You figure you have your sword tech user, for 1, that can absolutely get past, say, the shadows that Doom throws up. Then you've got your throw, so that's another one. So it may be a really great play, honestly, with having that throw, and possibly something that he's thinking about.
Definitely. I'm sure he's thinking about getting another experience egg as well, because if he gets that, he could have it on the thrower and the sword tech user and have them both ready to go. Sword tech, again, is really, really reliant on vigor to use sword tech 7, but the magic is a little more lenient, but typically a little weaker unless you have a high magic character already. He just noticed that it's an Ultima Life 2 and Pearl Esper as well, so I'm sure he's going to get to learning that pretty quickly. Yeah, so some of the skills that they have are pretty reliant upon skills. Or not skills, but Esper boosts. So hopefully we find some of those. And he saw
we're
Ultima...
looking at Ceresa's confidence right now. She says, Ogors? Who cares? Let's go.
She ain't afraid of no Ogors. And Sigil, seeing Ultima, said, oh, dragons. I need Ultima now, dragons. And that's where he's heading, which is exactly what I would have done the second I saw that Esper if I thought I could kill it. Which early on, dragons aren't that strong in these seeds, though Ceres did push scaling hard with the amount of free checks that she took. But now I would be considering maybe a World of Ruin Narsh play, or I'd be considering heading up Fnatic's Tower. But that's just an Esper, so I probably wouldn't do Fanatics when I peaked it. But World of Ruin Narsh is an option, or even the dreaded Ancient Castle could be an option for getting an extra dragon, learning that Ultima, and just starting to wreck face, you know?
Absolutely. I actually really enjoy the Ancient Castle. Like, it's one of those plays I've learned to kind of not do as often because it is a bit slower. But having that dragon down there, especially in this case where you're trying to learn a spell, you're hitting all those checks kind of right in line. It's the same as why you would end up going to World of Ruin Narsh. I think the only reason that I wouldn't go there now would be because I could go to Ancient Castle to learn that spell and get those checks, saving my World of Ruin Narsh just in case I either get the Yeti or I get locked, so I can kind of roll some extra checks in there while I'm up on that mountain.
That's true. And Sigil says it's time to go shopping, so we're probably going to see an economizer buy here. At least an economizer buy. Wouldn't surprise me to see another experience egg purchase if he can swing it, but he's gotten some armor from free checks, so would not surprise me that he's going to sell the house here and get what he can. So Ceres has gotten her Edgar. Let's see where she's going to go. Looks like she's going to go straight into Edgar things, which I think that's a fantastic move.
Yeah, I think at this point where our players are, unless it's absolutely mandatory, we may not get to see a floating continent play. They've got plenty of checks available to them. They've got plenty of strength going on. At this point, the time that you would lose going to that, we have a Yeti. I know a number of people are really excited about that, and this is another point, is what I was saying. You have that Yeti now, that makes the play of going up there in Narsh and World of Ruin that much sweeter.
Definitely, and Sigil is doing what I probably would have done, and that's just focus fire dragons real quick. But he's going to be real upset if he does Edgar things and finds that Yeti after he's already run up Narsh and has to run it all over again. That's gonna hurt. It's gonna feel bad. He'll have Ultima, but he'll be sad at the same time. Also, I saw somebody in chat here, Chadius did mention auto haste. No auto haste. So auto haste is not in this flag set. So this one is just goddess things. So we actually just get overcast and condemned from checks, but there's actually no dragon objectives. So none of the bonuses we get on other flag sets. Let's see what we got to do to get this Yeti. And a dirt dragon on Sigil side. We got a leader. Again, the early boss streak continues.
Oh, I'm sure that hurt her feelings so bad.
Yeah, watch out for those axes, though.
Now,
gotta watch out for those 10 damage axes.
I mean, really, they're gonna break the bank. Your people are gonna fall down hard. So here's my question to you. At this point, you've just got your Yeti. Are you gonna be going down and going through the rest of Ancient Castle, or are you just gonna hit that throne and roll to Narsh?
I'm gonna hit that throne and roll to Narsh. So main reason is I don't really need another dragon at this point. If I can get that Ultima, I'm happy. And I just want to move along. And Floating Continent is still an option. Ancient Castle's quite a gambit with no guaranteed progression, while Floating Continent will be 2 guaranteed progressions. And that's just assuming that Yeti isn't already another character. So we're already, well, Ceres is already 1 character away from skip. Never mind, she has skip now. So now there is
the game too.
0% chance I do Floating Continent or do Ancient Castle. There's no chance. We're doing, we're gonna do basement. We're gonna go do front 2 Magitech. We're gonna go do Yeti things in Tritok. We have Fanatics Tower that we've already peaked for an Esper. So I think I would exhaust those faster and peakable opportunities before I ever think about doing those longer checks. And oh look, it's Ulti 1. Another easy boss. All this offense and nobody to use it on.
And again, I think if I was seeing all of these like really early bosses, I would be just that thing in the back of my brain would be like, all right, where's the bad one? Scaling's getting higher, stuff is getting tougher, and yeah, I might be getting tougher, but what is it about to throw at me?
A very good point, because as you get rid of these super easy bosses, the only thing that's going to be left is going to be the harder bosses. And boy, look at that, we just found a mug. This is an extremely character-heavy seed, because we got Realm and both of her checks were characters. We got Edgar and both of his front checks were characters. So, character, so many characters. Now, I do see Ceres is going to be checking up on the Phantom Train here, which is an awesome idea because she can peek it. I'm not sure that I would do it right now because of the other checks that are available to me. However, it is still good to take a look at and see if it's an Esper or a character. It's an armor, so instant reset.
Yeah, I don't know that I would be doing that. I think, like we were discussing before, if I'm looking at the fact that I currently have 4 Espers, I'm going to be trying to knock out the places where I know they can be. That way that I can kind of take stock and see what I'm going to have left afterwards. And as we see, for instance, with Sigil, I was wondering if we were going to see any Daryl's Tomb. That's actually a really quick check, all things considered, and it doesn't hurt. It's also somewhat peekable because you can save outside. You find out that there's something there and it's not what you want. You reset, you keep moving.
Yeah, it's a good call. And Jazer does mention in the chat that doing Floating Continent now, where Ceres is going, is a great idea because This is a Sphere 0 check, and for those who don't know about randomizer logic, Sphere 0 is things that you can do right when you start a seed. So in this case, Floating Continent was from a character that we started with. So it is less likely that a character will be found in any more of his checks. Since characters, we've already gotten down to like Sphere 2, Sphere 3 at this point. So going here, there's 3 checks with 2 guaranteed progressions. You have a higher chance of finding 2 espers from your guaranteed progressions than 2 characters, or even 1 character and 1 esper. Not to mention we have a chance at an esper or an item from the middle check, from the Atma weapon spot. So I think this is a great option to go for what is hopefully going to be just a deluge of espers. Experience and money doesn't hurt either.
Absolutely. And I'm looking over here at this Marshall fight for poor Sigil, and it looks to me like Marshall and his little friends were not too friendly, in fact.
Yeah, watch out for them waist shakes. But it looks like he's getting out of it just fine. That's just one of those things. Muddle in this game is a killer. It will ruin you. If the wrong character gets muddled at the wrong time, you just lose. I'm just sure he's thanking his lucky stars. What was that?
That he was just rewarded with a Terra. That's a lot of excellent checks at this point in the game.
That is a good one. Now, the question is, where's he going to go? He's just going to go knock out her Welk spot, it looks like. Which is an interesting choice. As mentioned, you know, chasing her checks right now could lead to characters faster. She's got 2 fast ones. But I'm not sure this is where I'd be focusing right now. I also have a Welk. Easy boss number like 17,000.
Right?
I think we've almost killed all the World of Balance bosses at this point. Not quite, but we're close. We've seen Dullahan.
Right up there.
Dullahan's the only World of Ruin boss we've seen so far.
You know, I think I might be doing what Sigil's doing right now, specifically because I'm looking at the fact that I only need 1 more character. So in this case, with this check, it's quick enough. And Locke, okay, you know what? I don't think I would be sad finding Locke right about now. That gives him the weapon shop check. And of course, you know, it kind of hurts a little bit to have Locke behind this Welk check because his second item is going to be behind this. So you would have to world flip a couple of times. But that will also set him up for doing his World of Ruin Narsh.
That's true, but he doesn't have Yeti yet. And he's already done World of Ruin Narsh. At least everything other than Yeti. So he could go there for the espers, for sure. I mean, he's got his skip now, but characters are in very, very high supply in this seed. Espers are the name of the game, for sure. And he doesn't have Celis yet either, so he's missing some of the fast multi-esper checks currently.
Yeah, I have to agree. When it comes to checks, right now, Cerise really has the pick of the litter.
Yeah, and we're hoping to find 3 espers here, which will get her at 7. So then she has sort of a choice of places to go. You know, she can go over to Daryl's tomb. She can do Fanatic's Tower for the last esper. She can, well, assuming she can go do Magitech and hope she gets 2 espers from the front. And then she has guaranteed at Fanatic's Tower. So there's definitely options and choices to go with here.
Oh, absolutely. If I was to get 3 here, I would absolutely be running over to Magitech as quickly as possible to get those first 2 done. It's relatively quick. And again, you know, you're kind of paring down the fact that you can't get characters there. So as long as you're not rolling into 3, at which point then your time eats up, which I doubt we're going to see that.
I would be completely shocked if we see a Magitech 3 in this seed. Sigil's about to get the bad news. He's going to go in here and see a Yeti and make a lot of Sigil noises, as people like to say, when he sees it. He'll probably hear it on his stream if he has his mic on. But he's going to see that Yeti and not be happy that he's
Sigil
already
noises
ran up
indeed.
that way.
The Sigil grunts, they're legendary.
Yeah, Sigil, if he finishes it, he's not going to finish it. I was going to say, if he finishes this, he's just going to roll into 2 characters, which very sad times. He's already got his skip, so I'm sure he's very displeased to see, oh no, he's still in Daryl's tomb. Oh, Sigil, you didn't save before you went in. Homie, that is He is, oh man, so that means he has to do this again, he has to go do Welk Spot again, and he has to do Weapon Shop again. So he is 3 checks behind his previous save, which is, that feels bad. That feels really bad. You hate to see it.
Especially with how hard these waist shakes were rocking him the first time around. But you can see he's definitely using that weight tricking.
The most
Looks
important
like the second
skill in
time
this
was a lot
randomizer.
more friendly.
Definitely. There he's over here fighting Inferno and you making good use of weaknesses. He is weak to Bolt. Now, when I first started this randomizer, I saw Inferno, and what would you think? That you fire, right? He's fire. Don't use fire on him because Inferno. So obviously he's weak to ice, right? No, he's not. He's weak to Bolt. So one of those weird weaknesses that don't necessarily make sense to their strengths. And Ceres made very quick work of him with Bolt 3, so very well done with that knowledge check. Sigil's not going to be far behind.
That's one thing to remember. Anything that looks like it might be a machine is usually weak to Bolt in this game.
That's true. I didn't think he looks like a machine, though. I guess he has machine parts. I never put those two together. But yes, if it's a machine, usually you can use water or Bolt on it. It's a good rule of thumb. It doesn't always work, but it is a pretty good assumption you can make if you don't have knowledge otherwise. So Sigil has pivoted and is also going to join Ceres on Floating Continent. I did not see what was gained from Inferno, but I do see she is at 6 Espers now, so it must have been an Esper. So we're at 2 Espers thus far. Now,
I
you
think at this point,
that...
if you remember that Cerise, sorry about that, but if you remember, Cerise did peek Fanatic's tower, so she is aware that there's an Esper at the top of that tower. So we might be seeing that if she gets down, especially if she does those first 2 checks of Magitech, and those happen to be Espers. I think I'd be running that tower pretty quickly.
Without a doubt. I think the dream right now is, well, actually, I wouldn't be doing that right away. I would be considering doing basement and then front 2 Magitech, and just hope to get the 3 Espers that way, right? But it's definitely, like, the dream would be, if that doesn't happen, that, 2 Espers in front Magitech, and then straight to Fanatics if needed. So we hope that with these checks available to us now, that we can quickly knock this out, get that unlock, and get rolling. The question is, I'm kind of curious what sort of endgame offense we'd be looking at to handle those statues. Because I'm still seeing Shadow rolling with Thousand Needles, which I guess it's only because it's Tritalk. But we're up to Sword Tech 6 now, which is good. We still have a thrower, which is good. But I'm not sure if he's geared up for using physical attacks or shurikens or not. So I wonder what her in-game offense is going to look like. Are we going to get the triple? We got the triple Espers out of Floating Continent.
Well, I'm pretty sure she's excited about that. I know I would be.
Jazer did mention that he believes that Sabin has been magic pumped the entire game, which means he's fine. So Skeens work just fine with a magic pumped character for the whole game. So if that is the case, he's sold. All right, and as I mentioned, we're going straight to Magitech, front 2. See if we can't get those 2 Espers to get us up to 9.
Right. Looks like we might be trying to put Ultima on a second character as well, which would definitely help getting in the tower since everything seems to be very magic heavy. I know for a fact that both of these players really prefer the physical offense if they can get it, but it has not been available in this seed at all aside from that throw.
I'd say pretty typical with a Goddess seed. They tend to be pretty magic heavy, which that's sort of the goal, right? Magic heavy plus weight tricking is the name of Goddess seeds. So I would definitely be looking into passing that Ultima around. I would like to have it on 3 characters if I can. I wouldn't focus it. I would definitely want it on 2. And then I would pass it to someone else, and if they learn it, they learn it. But the reason being, it's very easy to pass along that economizer and then have them carry a lane with Ultima if needed. So it's just a good idea to have that extra coverage, even if you don't need it. Just that utility in lanes in these flag sets especially is huge.
I was about to say, being able to pass things has been invaluable when it comes to doing any of these Magi Seeds, because again, you're dealing with your full level 50 statues up there, and they are all very nasty. So being able to switch equipment around, switch anything that you have to make sure that you can get through a lane is really the goal there. As a matter of fact, quite frankly, they seem like they're more of a gatekeeper than Final Kefka is at this point.
In these flag sets, it feels like it, because you're going to be higher level in these flag sets, so by the time you get to Final Kefka, you're probably going to be able to steamroll him if you're used to Ultros League. It's the journey in this seed, not necessarily the destination, that's going to get you. And I do find that the tower is definitely a thorn in my side in particular. I'm really kind of an Ultros League purist. You know, I run a lot of Ultros League and very little alternate flag sets. So my adjustment when dealing with higher scaling, more powerful enemies, shuffled statues instead of mixed statues, it's just not quite there. The foundation isn't quite there like it is with some others. So it's been a little difficult for me in some of my races. But yeah, like you said, once you get to Kefka, he's pretty easy. You're mostly going to be close to level 50, and we have multiple experience eggs floating around. So Kefka's not going to be an issue, I don't think. However, when you get to a Poltergeist who's level 50 and he double goners you, that's a different story.
Maybe just a little bit. Or, you know, if he decides to stop the person you really need. As if that's not nasty enough on its own. At level 50, he's pretty much just going to murder your people.
Oh, I'll take stop, because at least that one character is stopped, right? But at the very least, it's another turn before he gets to kill him, so I can still do some damage, and he's not going to do anything else. That's great. But man, his counters are horrible. Like, you can get counter Mertoned. You could just too many counters that he could just blast at you along with his regular turn, and he's just disgusting. High magic defense, high physical defense. That's another reason why Ultima is huge. Ultima ignores magic defense, so who cares? Does not matter. He just takes the full damage, the full brunt of Ultima, period, end of story.
You know, another thing that I was thinking about, just kind of looking at all of this here, we haven't really seen a whole lot of elemental shields. Like, normally, with this, I would want to have at least one or two that I could maybe break in an emergency. They don't even have that as a backup when going against those statues later on.
That's a good point. It's really nice to be able to just, you know, toss out 9,000 damage with one shield if you have to. You know, in a pinch, you know they're one hit away and you're about to die. Bam, 9,000. Not going to be an option here. And even just having that available for the absorption is huge. Having a flame shield for a Poltergeist, that's wonderful.
Absolutely. And that's actually what got me thinking about it. You were talking about, Merton. I'm like, flame shield. Wait a minute. I have seen no elemental shields.
My fault, though. Only thunder shields are available here. So no flame, no ice shields in a goddess seed. It's another one of those interesting things. Poltergeist seeds have all flame shields, while Doom seeds have all ice shields. Goddess has all thunder shields. It's all based on the element that they use. Speaking of shields.
Well, I did see a flame shield there. There's 3 of them. Apparently, she has managed to get 3.
She just bought them. Yeah, when mentioning no flame shields, it's on high tier items. Sorry, I didn't specify. They exist. They do exist, but just not in the high tier item pool. Apologies. All right, so we're going down to the basement. As mentioned, she only got 1 Esper from the basement. So, or not the basement, but from Magitech. So that's a little unfortunate. And then another dead check in the basement. That is also unfortunate. So we're down to what do we do, right? There's not a ton of options left. There's Magitech 3, there's Opera House, there's the lovely Auction House, maybe. Fanatics is only 1, so we're still stuck on that last Esper before we can finish it up with Fanatics, but that is super unfortunate.
Now, she doesn't know that it's a character, but I feel like in this case, well, of course, she's going to mount Colts. That's usually one that I don't think about as much, and really I need to think about it more, because it's actually really not that slow. You can pretty much roll through it quickly, and that's a really good check to kind of run in when it comes to savings checks. But otherwise, I think I probably would be looking at Daryl's Tomb at this point, because that's also a quick one if I was trying to find it, because she doesn't know it's a character like we do. So it would be a quick option to check.
That's true, but also in terms of proximity for Ceres, she was already at South Figaro, so just smashing straight into Colts does make sense. Sabin is a Sphere 0 character, so it's a low probability that there's a character here, so I think it's actually a pretty good move. We ultimately only need one Esper, and we can just go bust out Fanatics and call it a day. Obviously, Fanatics isn't super ideal because we're not looking for a check skip, so it would have been better to be able to get it without Fanatics, but knowing it's there is really huge. I think a lot of people don't love Mount Colts because the routing is super confusing. It takes some practice to get used to the fact that the entrances and exits don't line up all the way. You might enter from the left, but then have to move right as you get into the next screen, which is just super jarring until you get used to it. But at the end of the day, it's a very average, like super mid check. It's got one boss, no trash fights. It's got a save point pretty close, so it's really not that bad of a check, but as mentioned, Chatty used to say it's the worst save in check, but like, sort of. Ooh, we got a Doom Gaze. How are we looking on the math? Probably pretty good because of the experience eggs. Even if someone dies, the whole party shouldn't die. But nobody does.
And looking on Sigil's side, it looks like he went back to go get that lock. So that will give him his skip for KT. The question is, at this point, what do you think? I mean, he's 2 Espers away. Same as Cerise. What do you think he's thinking in this moment? Like, where do you think he's planning to go?
The first thing he's going to do is go straight to Weapon Shop, or he's going to skip that right now and maybe go down to Tunnel Armor and see if he can't just get an Esper from there. Since he's close, it's fast, it's a single boss, knock it out real quick, and then go straight up to World of Ruin Narsh. That might be what I would do, although it is a risky play, strictly because of the fact that it is he just got lock. So there's a pretty solid chance that there's a character here. He only has 2 locations that can have a character. That's Phoenix Cave and Tunnel Armor. So it's a risk, but proximity is close and it's a fast check. So that is where he's going. I don't think that's a bad move at all, and it's probably what I would have done.
It'd be really interesting to see what's here.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what this Doom Gaze is going to give. We really hope for an Esper. And of course, if Sigil can get an Esper here, he will make up a lot of that time. He'll make up all of the time because he knows there's an Esper at Weapon Shop. 100% full stop. We just need an Esper here, and he's ready to roll. So Hydon, we are getting high up on scaling, so we could. It's not unheard of to see a goner from Hydon here. We are toward the end of the seed. Scaling is getting out of control. Bosses that are in World of Ruin are going to start throwing some real nastiness at us, especially if he kills all 4 of the little dudes, which he is going to do with Ultima. So let's see how Hydon feels about that. Media.
Well, we also see that Cerise wound up picking up Bahamut, so we are only 1 Esper away from unlock on her side. At this point, it looks like she's picking up that economizer, probably getting prepared for Endgame. You think she's going to go run Fanatics? Pick up that last Esper that she knows where it's at?
For sure. I think she's heading right there. It doesn't feel good because I know she feels behind right now with that hunt, all the characters she got and everything, and just dead check after dead check after dead check. But I am fairly certain she's heading straight to Fanatics. It's already been peaked. She knows it's there. It's guaranteed unlock. She already has skip. She just got to go there. Search this guy's first. That makes sense. Super upsetting, though, that is also dead. Sigil gets a Snow Muffler. Also dead. This seed hates unlock.
I don't know that I'd hate that Snow Muffler, though. I mean, if I'm going to get a dead check and it's going to be something, I think that would probably be one of the ones that I'd be happy to see.
There is, however, another Snow Muffler in Weapon Shop, so he could pick that up. Oh, we're going to see Elite River play? Well, I'll be. Any Elite River fans in chat? Anybody ready to go on a river rafting trip? Or is he just going to buy something else? Am I wrong? Oh, he's going for Mega Elixirs. No, he's not. He's going for... Oh, that's a lot of X potions. He says, I'm not going to be caught with my pants down. Never mind. If you're a fan of river trips, then, don't be excited. He's leaving.
Looks like it was a wash. Okay, so we are going
you're banned.
over.
Leave.
No, I'm not.
You're not allowed in the booth anymore.
Well, so it looks like we are going to Daryl's tomb. I'm wondering if she remembers that Fanatics Tower was an Esper.
It was really long. It was a long time ago. So, I mean, I would have just ran straight up and not fought the dragon or anything, just blitzed up there. But yeah, he's gonna get she's gonna get a Terra here. So it's not great. Sigil saw a Mog. I'm sure he is really having a terrible time. He's gonna go into Phantom Forest and find a dead check. This seed does not want anybody going to Kefka's tower. Kefka has hidden his Espers well. I don't think I've seen this many like dead checks and characters this late into a seed when they're just one off, just one.
And it doesn't feel good either.
No.
At this point, especially with these two runners, they're used to pretty much blitzing through just about anything. They're both exceedingly impressive with their skill levels. So having to be stuck behind the RNG monster that is the real beast of any of these seeds is not feeling good.
No, it's not. Drinks Glue in the chat does say Sigil didn't save. Sigil, unfortunately, did not save. He reset out of a check without saving after or before getting Terra and Daryl's Tomb. So he did not. He lost his Daryl's Tomb play. He lost Welk check, and he lost Weapon Shop. So
how happy do you think he's going to be running across Celeste right about now?
I'm sure he'll feel great, and then he's going to feel really annoyed when he sees a red cap in the basement, because I bet you that's right where he's going to go, is straight to the basement. He's just trying to find that one Esper so he can go to Weapon Shop and get his unlock. The same thing Ceres has been doing for the last 15 minutes. Just that last Esper so they can go pick up the one they know. But he's going to get a red cap in basement. He's going to get real annoyed, then he's going to begrudgingly... Oh, he's not going to. He's going to go straight
Nope,
to
he's going to go straight to hope that is two Espers in the beginning. That's actually a pretty strong play and a smart way to go. Why waste the time for one basement check when you have two possibilities of Espers going in the beginning of Magitech? I think I'd be rolling with this play, because at that point, he's got two checks here to get at least the one Esper, and he knows where the other one is.
That's true, and Ceres is continuing to fade Fanatics. She says she's gonna go for the can check. So let's see if Kefka Narsh is going to bless her today. Unfortunately, all we can do is see if it's a character or something else, but we can't tell if it's an Esper. There's no way to peek if it's an Esper, only a way to peek if it might be an Esper. Let's see what we got. Oh, we're in World of Ruin. Never mind! This is why I only commentate on 2 racers and not 4, because I can barely keep up with what's in front of my face.
Oh, that's okay. The flashy box stuff gets me every time, I promise. I actually thought that she was in World of Balance as well, so, you know, I just insane.
This will be an interesting choice. I don't remember... I didn't look when Sigil ran by the Umaro cave to see if that was an Esper or if it was a character or not. So I don't know what Umaro has, and I certainly don't remember if Tritalk was an Esper or not. So we're going to see real soon.
So here's the question. Say you finish this Chowdernook fight, and you wind up with your Esper. Are you leaving out to go get that one at the weapon shop? Or are you going to try to check the second check here and hope that it is an Esper?
With the experience egg, I'm going to head out and go get what's guaranteed. Because I need that unlock right now. I don't need to risk it on a boss when my levels are already high. I just need to go get my Esper and go. It's already World of Ruin. It's about 2 seconds flight away from World of Ruin, Narsh. Just go get it.
Oh, no. Oh, thank goodness. Okay.
Ooh. Oh, that was scary. That was a real clencher. Oh, that was I didn't see that at first, but yeah, Setzer, he made the right choice today. He was zombied and very well could have just blitzed the whole team down with an Ultima.
Oh, it looked like I really thought that's what was going to happen. It was going to break my heart for Sigil if that had been it.
This is a very unpleasant Chad that we're seeing here. That Setzer cannot stay alive. He's just, the second he gets up, he gets blitzed down. Sabin is throwing a very respectable 8,000 damage with shurikens, so whatever I said earlier, I don't know if he's being strength boosted or not, but if he is, then good on him. He's doing just great. He'll be able to carry a lane, no problem.
That's one of those things about your throwers, especially if you get them in the very beginning. That actually winds up being one of those viable plays that I think about a lot, especially if it's on someone who has high vigor naturally. That's probably what I would be doing. I would be boosting them as hard as I possibly could, because come in game, I've seen Strago nail quad nines in a throw. So definitely worth having, and it's good to see.
100%. Ceres gets the unlock first. Looks like, Sigil's going to be not that far behind. Oh, I am shocked to see Ceres going down here. I just saw the Kefka unlock, so... What's she doing down here? What do you think she's doing down here, DLK?
I honestly don't know. I can't think of anything unless she didn't realize and didn't see it herself that she had unlock. Did she not have warp stones, maybe?
Well, this won't help because this doesn't warp you out or anything. She just still has to run out.
But if you figure, if you're doing it like that, I mean, it still drops you kind of closer to the top of the cave. That's really the only thing I could even think of.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Interesting. That's a question. That's a question for after the race. Let's see. Why you do Umaro? Question mark. And obviously we have to ask how they were feeling about the character swamping and no espers. So Sigil is not far behind. He might actually catch up and get unlocked right around the same time as Ceres is getting out of Narsh. So looks like we're both ending in World of Ruin Narsh, getting our unlock here in different areas, which is pretty interesting. It's cool to see such a varied seed of vastly different routes both get their unlock in the same spot.
And almost at the same time.
Almost at the same time. Well, she had warp stones. Still confused, but that does put her in the lead by, I don't know, what are we looking at here? About 10 seconds?
Maybe. I guess it all depends on if he stops at that bucket. At this point, it's like 5 seconds. Because he didn't hit that bucket.
Oh, he's not even going to stop. He's just going to blitz straight to it. He said, that took too long. I have to make up this time. I'm going to go out to the tower, save, and just go. Just go.
Absolutely. That's one of those things that I know for a fact. Sigil likes to consider his opponent, and Cerise is one heck of an opponent. So he is probably, like you were saying, she was feeling behind. I'm sure he is feeling ridiculously behind at this point, especially after having to wind up losing some of his checks.
Yeah, that losing those 3 checks early, that hurts. That is a major blow to the morale. So we both know that he is feeling desperately slow right now with that slip up. So he's got a lot. He's got a lot to prove here. Can he bring it back after that mistake? That would be super impressive. He's going to be the first one in the tower, it looks like. Or they're going to go in at the same time almost. Oh, within seconds. You love to see it. All right, here we go. It's the 33% chance to get completely murked by statues. Let's see how they do. Nobody knows where the statues are.
You said you really enjoyed slots and you like to gamble. I'd say this is definitely the gambling game because you never know who you're going to be up against in each of these lanes. So you're kind of just hedging your bets and hoping for it.
That's true. I love that he put Sabin there. He's going to give him more levels, and he's probably the most consistently brutal character for speed as well. You know, he throws a shuriken and they eat 9k. Like that's it. That's what Sabin does, so he can chew through statues really quick as long as he can stay alive. So I think he has a red jacket on or a snow muffler or something, so he should be okay with staying up. But let's see how things go. Sari's doing middle lane first, getting Atma. We mentioned it earlier, but all the weak bosses were chewed up early on in the seed, so it is expected to see a powerful... I guess it doesn't really matter, actually, because the 3 statues are still the statues. The only one that matters is Guardian Spot, which is Atma, which that checks out. A little bit of French vanilla action here. Ulti on the left.
Ulti.
Ooh, that sucks.
Oh,
that is...
Yeah, that's gonna hurt. That's a reset right there.
That hurts bad, because that was the first statue, meaning he's going to be put right back outside of Kefka's tower and has to reform. That hurts a lot. But that targeting on stop was methodical. He said, I see you, small child. Stop. You don't get to Ultima me to death.
And I see that
And
Cerise is taking advantage of the weakness of the what we call Toilet Atma, our World of Ruin Atma. He's weak to Bolt, actually. So hitting those quad 9s right there probably felt great.
It's actually better than that. Toilet Atma is weak to all the primary elements. So ice, fire, or bolt. And absorbs everything else. So it actually makes him quite easy to kill in the grand scheme of things. As long as you don't get Gonnered back to back or something at max scaling. I love seeing an early Atma because typically you have some elements to toss right in his face and problem solved.
Alrighty, so we are looking at Doom in the middle of our set here. That's going to be fairly interesting, especially with that Yeti being zombied.
Ooh, we have forgotten a Moogle Charm on Sigil's side. And also, this is a very interesting play on Sigil's side. So, if I were to get walled by Poltergeist, which is not even arguably the most difficult or risky statue, it is the most risky statue in these flag stats. I would much rather get a foothold in this seed first, or in the tower. I would rather go middle and get my save in here in case I get stopped again, because one stop and it's right back to square one, right? So, interesting choice to come straight back here without getting that tower foothold.
I will agree with you there. I do tend to take that middle lane first for exactly the reason that you said, because anytime you wind up with a nasty statue, it doesn't matter. Being able to have that quick save from that guardian spot is amazing.
Yeah, and in these flag sets especially, and with Poltergeist being as volatile as he can be, it's just one of those fights where if he just chooses to do the wrong thing at the wrong time, there's really nothing you can do about it. It's instantaneous time loss. However, he is chewing him up this time. He didn't get stopped. Ultima's doing 9s. Bolt 3 is doing 6 on Poltergeist, which is insanity. So he's been magic pumped for sure. Because Poltergeist has high magic defense. There's no reason he should be taking 5,000 or 6,000 damage from a shadow without magic pump. So, yeah. I think we're going to be fine. Whirlwind is pretty unpleasant.
Absolutely, but if he can get some more of those blue bubbles off, and of course, you remember, he bought all those X potions, so I'd say this is definitely that point where those are coming in handy, but looks like he's not going to need it. Down goes the Angry Bird.
Thankfully, he's the worst one. He has enough magic defense to where Goddess isn't going to be an issue. Obviously, we don't have to worry about Overcast, and we don't have to worry about Condemned. None of that matters, so she's going to waste turns doing that when we already have it. So Goddess seeds actually make Goddess easier in the long run. So she ends up tossing whole rounds away, casting Overcast on you. So she's not an issue. Poltergeist is the one. He's the guy.
As we're watching Cerise, it looks like she's going to find out soon that Polty's going to be her last hurdle to roll.
Yeah, and she knows that now, so we just got to hope that whoever she put there can handle it, because I'm sure it's a solo lane. So hopefully they have the goods that are necessary, since she didn't peek the left first. All right, let's see how Goddess decides to cooperate. Let's also see how Atma wants to cooperate, because I mentioned it earlier, but at max scaling, ol' Atma buddy here, he can toss some Ultimas, he can toss some Gonners, he can toss some Meteos. He's gross.
Yep, but you know, those Shuriken, those quad 9 Shuriken are really going to make or break it here. All he's got to do is worry about keeping save and standing, and like you mentioned, with what he has on, he's not he just took 0 damage. I'm pretty sure he's set.
Sabin is just waving his beefcake flag right now. Like, he's ready to eat whatever shows up, and he's just gonna throw little stars at things until they die, and that's perfect. It's great on Doom as well, because image means nothing to shurikens. Can't dodge those.
The other good point is, the 2 characters that he's got with him, we got them close to the end of the seed, but they're not really pumped with anything. So there's a fairly low chance that they're going to do anything to save it either.
As long as they don't have some dumb skills or something to where they X-zone or do some other nasty thing that kills him instantly. Zombie is scary.
Well, as we saw when we were worried about that Setzer, you're right. Zombie is terrifying with the right tools.
It really is. All right, Ceres takes down Goddess. Again, not much of a concern, but I'm sure she's a little bit worried with just what's coming up next. But I will say maybe she's not worried at all because Ceres has been grinding these flag sets out. She knows what's up. She knows what's coming. She knows how to handle it. She's been studying the tactics of, dealing with this stuff. So let's see how that practice comes in handy for her here.
Earlier we were talking about poor Sigil's offense not being quite as high, but he seems to be holding pretty much right in time with Cerise. So it's going to be a race to the finish, unless something gets thrown in the mix really hard.
They are approximately a boss behind, so we're gonna, well, actually a little bit more than a boss behind, come to think of it. So he still has to do Goddess after Doom here, so almost 2 bosses behind. I will say Sigil does have a lot more safety in his items. I don't believe the seed has been very generous with healing spells. So the fact that he has all those elixirs could come in handy during Final Kefka. Poltergeist is poltergeisting here. And as mentioned, Sigil has a lot of items to utilize, while Ceres has none. So a little bit worrisome depending on what sort of abilities Poltergeist decides to throw out. But never mind, it doesn't matter because Poltergeist can be stopped. Who cares? He can sit there and watch as Ultimas blow him up. GG, Ceres, for getting through Kefka first. Kefka's tower first. Not quite Kefka yet. Yeah, never forget that Poltergeist can be stopped.
Absolutely. There's been one time or other that I've actually had a stunner in my inventory at one point and put it on one of my little, space holding characters, and it's managed to proc stop on him, and that's the dream. At any point, whenever I'm struggling against Poltergeist, is if something as simple as that winds up proccing and stopping him.
Definitely. You can also stunner him with Stunner 6. Sword Tech 6? Stopped. That is a stop ability.
It is indeed.
Oh, speaking of stunners, look who has it. Actually, she was using that right now. She was just equipped with the stunner and having Edgar slam him and hoping for a stop to happen. I didn't notice that till I just saw her re-equipping the weapon. So we are officially 1 boss behind on Sigil's side. Now, that can easily be made up, depending on how Kefka cooperates. As mentioned, Ceres has very few items to work with. So we're going to see what utility she's able to bring to the fight to keep herself alive during Final Kefka.
They're going through these menus so quickly, I keep kind of eyeballing for those Revivifies and how many they might have, because with them having Overcast on, plus Doom Tusk, you have to really hope that they have them to keep going.
Yeah, well, I know Ceres bought 20 right at the start and hasn't needed to use them a whole lot. Sigil, on the other hand, might have only 6 or 7 left unless he bought more later. He had to use a lot dealing with Chatternook. He burned 4 of them just killing Chatternook. So we'll see. I think he's going to need to not let people die as much as possible. All right, so Ceres Rose heading on to Final Kefka Tier 1. You have a preference on which tiers you'd like to explain?
I could probably do 1 and 3. It won't hurt my feelings too bad.
Sure, I'll let you kick it off then. I'll keep an eye on old Sigil over here.
Alrighty, so here we are going into Tier 1. This has 3 parts. Our head is weak to fire. We have the long arm, which is the ones you see there to the left. We have short arm, which is kind of fisted up. Now, a little trick with this one. Most of your damage here is going to be melee offense, but you're going to want to kill the head before the other two pieces. That nasty quake counter at the end when it dies is terrible. And as you saw there, Cerise used Doom on our long arm. Long arm is susceptible to instant death, and so that makes that one really easy to do. You can also use Break because it is also susceptible to Petrify. So the best case scenario in this is that you kill the head, you kill the long arm, and then you take that short arm last, because in terms of death counters, that's going to be the easiest to deal with.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Ceres is going ultra safe. Dropping big guard. So that's going to give us a lot of extra defense on top of the armor we already have. So maybe we don't need heals at all if everybody's taking 14 damage, right?
I mean, that's definitely the help.
And that's the thing with tier 1 as well. It's all physical damage. So if you have good physical defense, you don't have to worry about the counters from short arm. None of that stuff. I mean, I don't think she took any damage from tier 1. So that
really.
Couldn't have gone much better, I don't think.
Went right past it.
Now, I do know we have instant death. I also know that we have mute. So tier 2 here probably won't be a huge problem. Far left, we got the dude with the arm outstretched. That is magic. He casts magic and can also be muted. So if you have mute, you can shut him up for the whole fight. Next to him, the girl in red. She is tools. She can be instant deathed, but not petrified. So different from tier 1. You can cast your Odins or your Raidens, your Exones, your Dooms, your Exfers, whatever instant death you got to kill her. Tiger on the bottom right does a lot of ice abilities, and his main shtick is once you get him low on life, he'll start Doom Tusking you. Doom Tusk hits somebody, turns them into a zombie. Shenanigans occur. And the last one is going to be Hit in the front. Hit likes to hit. He's going to punch you, and that's all he's going to do. His whole script is punch. And then when he dies, he punches you 10 times. So you just want to make sure you have enough physical damage to get through him, or have something to mitigate it. Multi-summon is on, so throw out a Fenrir, throw out a Phantom. Whatever you need to get rid of it, or to avoid it if you can't just eat it. General tactics is going to be do instant death tools, mute magic, kill Tiger as fast as possible to get rid of that zombie issue, go ahead and knock out Hit, go ahead and knock out magic and move right along. And in this case, I'm seeing a different strategy that everybody knows and loves, who's been playing this for a while. That's the just destroy the stack. Do nothing but smack down full AoE damage on the entire stack. Magic has 42,000 HP. That is a lot more HP than everybody else in the stack, so you are guaranteed to kill the 3 in the front before Magic ever dies, and then you could wrap it up by killing Magic. So that's what she's doing. Foot is on the gas, not letting up. Tier 2 is about to eat it right now. Dead tier 2. Oh, not quite. One more hit to go. The stunner will handle it. So fun thing, Mute will stop his counterattacks when he's low on life, but it won't stop his death counters. So we can see Dispel coming out here. That means guaranteed dead. We know that that's the end. We don't have to worry about him anymore. If magic comes out while he's muted, he's done for.
And now we're moving on up to tier 3. Now this tier only has 2 parts. We have Girl, who is on our left-hand side in the back, and then we have Sleep, who is in the front. Now, Girl will absorb any kind of elements. So you're going to want to make sure that you're using any kind of non-elemental damage you can. She only has quad 9 health, which means she's pretty easy to take down, and you definitely want to, because otherwise she uses Whirlwind and can heal them as well. You definitely don't want to deal with that, especially when it comes to dealing with Sleep, who is in the front. Now, if I can remember correctly, he has 40,000 health.
Ding, ding, ding.
Thank you. See, I get cheers and everything. Bells. All right. Feel like I just won the lottery. So, with our 40,000 health in the front, your main goal is to keep track of exactly how much damage you have for multiple reasons. One, he has a death counter, which is Calmness, which will instant kill anyone that does not have protection. And in this case, since we have Fenrir, which I didn't see if she had actually put it on anybody, but I can't imagine her not doing so, which will do Shadows. It is technically a physical attack. So Shadows, life 3, if somebody dies, they can get back up. In this case, it wouldn't help us because we have these nice overcast counters. So they would turn into a zombie, and life 3 just doesn't matter here. Golem would be another one as well. So you're looking at that as your death counter. So you want to make sure that you time it and have everybody protected as much as you can before you kill him. But secondly, when he gets down below that 10,000 mark, he is able to spam Meteo, he is able to use Train, and he will wreck your team as fast as he can. He can double Meteo back to back and tank your entire party. So you want to make sure that you are ready to pretty much zerg him down as soon as possible. And as you see, we did not have our calmness protection there, and Setzer turned into a zombie, so we're going to have somebody replaced there. But that was actually really clean. Otherwise, quite fast taking down tier 3, and we're moving on to tier 4.
Shoutouts to Shadow Edge. I saw Shadow Edge use on Sabin, giving him image, so at least he was rescued from any of that. All right, so we got ourselves tier 4, Final Kefka, the Mad Clown himself. This is mostly just a damage race while also being mindful of counters. The first thing he's going to want to do is fall in 1 the entire team. That brings everybody down to 1. You can mitigate that by bringing him down by about 30,000 damage. It's actually a little bit less than that, but if you can do 30,000 damage with proper weight tricking before he attacks, there's no fall in 1. From that point on, he's going to do some big spells and Havoc Wings and start countering. And he's going to want to start charging Goner, which is a big area group-wide attack versus the whole party that he has to charge up. Big thing is, while he's charging Goner, he will no longer counter, so that's when you open up the can, you tear him up as fast as possible. No counter attacks, no attacks while he's charging, so weight tricking is huge. The biggest risk is when he's right at around 10,000 HP left. It's actually a little bit less than that. Whenever you hit him, if you don't kill him, he can counter with Ultima. So it's a major concern to try and pay attention to how much life he has. He has 62,000 HP right out of the gate. So you need to do right around 52,000 damage to him before Ultima becomes a concern. When he's at lower life, though, he can also start to double Havoc Wing you and some other nasty physical attacks that can really, cramp your style. So it's mostly just counting and paying attention and then really unloading when Goner comes up. In this case, Goner is here. She's already trucked out about 40k. So this homeboy's going to die before Goner comes out. She's going to weight trick through it, toss out a flame shield whenever she can, and she's going to wrap this up right now. So let's get some rounds of applauses in chat already. She has wrapped it up. And this will end it right here. That is that.
There's our crack pow. All right. That was
GG's to
123.52, or looks like 56. All right, so our counter's a little different than hers, but that is great. So we have a 123.56, and it looks like Sigil is heading on to tier 4. So this is still, it was a very, very close match, but well done, Cerise.
Kefka behind bars here. That is a fun visual glitch that you get while you are condemned. I think it's if the whole party is condemned or if the whole party is overcast. It's one of those, maybe even the combination of the two. But you get wonderful jail bars to watch him die at the end of Goddess Seeds. It is wonderful. And did I just hear, do we have a Ceres Rose in the chat? GG's, Ceres. Well done.
Congratulations. Very well done.
Do you know what the random shop chances are in Goddess?
They're very high.
Can you tell me
60%.
why I haven't found a big stick in the last 3 Goddess Seeds I've run?
Are you concerned about big sticks with how good that shop was in Zen?
I was about to say, I mean, you pretty much went to Christmas Town. Those relics were insane, and all in one shop. I think I wouldn't be crying too much about no big sticks.
Well, there were
But yes, bad luck
the
for
offerings, yeah, were never really came in handy. I was just worried because I wasted so much, what felt like a lot of time shopping and looting. I mean, I guess I was able to sell a lot of the stuff I got for the economizer that I needed, the flame shields I needed.
You did do a very thick looting phase, I must say. Very, very robust looting phase, but you came out of it with more experience eggs and a bit of a stronger start, if you will. So how are you feeling when you were 2 espers away and you knew where one esper was and you just simply could not find another esper? You did front Imtech, you did basement, everywhere you went was a character or an esper. How are you feeling at that point?
Bad.
I am sure you did feel bad. Did you remember that Fanatics had an esper?
Yes, but that's a lot of walking. And for a while I was trying to keep Ideally, I was going to keep the scaling down. It didn't end up mattering because I hit 21 checks.
I'm going to interrupt you real quick. GG's to Sigil with the crack pow. Final Kefka 126.15. GG's in the chat for Sigil. Coming in strong there.
GG, Sigil.
Yeah, I only have really like one question. Obviously, the seed was like high. Here's an Ifrit, and also here's economizers. Please blow bubbles, which is funny because you said to me just yesterday, if a seed wants me to blow bubbles, I'll blow bubbles, and you blew bubbles. So that just you brought in your own fate here. You got what do they call? You manifested your own destiny here, right? But I have a question for you. Why did you do the Omaro check after you already had unlock? I was very curious by that.
I didn't have calmness protection, and you can peek to see if it's an Esper.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, that's true. But you had Fenrir, but did you have it equipped for Final Kefka?
I didn't have Fenrir.
Did you not have Fenrir?
Did Sigil get Fenrir?
Maybe.
Yeah,
Dragon Lady
maybe
mentioned
it.
Fenrir. Yeah, it could be.
Did it come from that Magi Master I never came back to?
He never saw that.
He never even saw the Magi Master.
Yeah, he didn't see that at all. So yeah, I was just curious why you finished that up, because especially with how hard that unlock was for you and Sigil. Finding unlock was a whole thing for both of you.
It was really a race
that.
for those last couple of Espers. You were both sitting at 8 round about the same time, just hunting.
Yeah. Well, I knew, yeah, I mean, if you couldn't check to see if Yeti check was an Esper, I wouldn't have done it. But, you know, once you have 10 Espers that aren't calmness protection, you hope that your odds of getting one that are high. And I've had some really unlucky tier 2s. And I didn't exactly have, like, if I lost 2 people, tier 4 would have been really irritating.
That's true. Thankfully, you got through it just fine. But let's welcome in Sigil here. GG. Well done today. How you feeling?
Mixed.
Yeah. One could say that you encountered some roadblocks.
Just a few.
So how angry were you when you accidentally didn't save before resetting?
Very. I felt that was it. Against someone like
that hurt because you reset out and then it was like, oh no, he's back in Daryl's. Oh no, because that was 3 whole checks back. I was like, oh, yeah. That is awful. That definitely hurt. But you were both neck and neck anyway, because at the end of the day, y'all just could not find unlock. Everywhere you went was a character or a dead check, period. It was so hard for both of you to get an unlock. I would imagine you guys are at like 26 checks checked, like peaked trying to get it.
Now, one thing that we can say, however, is that it was pretty much a jumping into that tower at the exact same time on the first jump in. Obviously, in Sigil, in your case, unfortunately, Poltergeist got the upper hand on you. But the first time that you guys jumped in, it was literally within split seconds of one another. So you were very close. I'm sure you felt like you were way behind, but everything evened out right there in the end. We always say that Final Kefka is kind of the equalizer. In this case, with these seeds, the tower is the equalizer. So, I mean, good job on keeping going and not worrying about it, because you were right there neck and neck.
Was it a blue ball seed for you, Sigil?
Yes and no.
Yeah, it was Musclehead Sabin. Musclehead Sabin and Bubbles. That was pretty much how that was. And that was really well executed. Ceres found the Ultima sooner than you did, but you were both started really using it around the same time. You did what I would have done, which is see Ultima and go crush dragons and learn it right away.
Yes, that's why I was saving the dragons just in case, because with checks being 2.5 for scaling, it really doesn't pay to just take them for levels.
You got kind of unlucky, because you did all of World of Ruin Narsh and then saw Umaro later. And lucky you not doing that, because it would have been Umaro directly into Celis. So you would have just rolled right into 2 characters at that point.
Yeah.
Ceres found them earlier, but still, it was just like a total slog trying to get any unlock for you two. Yeah, that poltergeist. One question for you, and then I'm gonna let Dragon Lady just ask all the questions she's got, and that's when poltergeist shut you down, why didn't you not really reforming, but set it back up and then just do middle instead? That way you'd have a bit of a foothold in case you got stopped again like you did the first time. Were you just like, screw it, I don't care, I'm just gonna go for it?
Exactly, and I wasn't sure if Magi Master was in the middle or Doomgaze.
Yo, that's right, you
run
didn't
either
find
of them?
Doomgaze either, yeah.
Yeah, and also
Yes.
Guardian.
Yeah, Cerise actually had the fortune to know that both Magimaster and Doomgaze were not going to be there because she encountered them both in her runs through the rest of the sea.
Yeah,
If I-
Magimaster was in Ebbets, and she did that very early, and got walled and reset out. And then Doomgaze was in Colts. So she had to deal with him pretty late, but passed the math check, it wasn't a big
Yeah,
deal.
of course, I was going to cycle through characters with Realm if they kept failing. That's my plan.
Well, fortunately,
makes
that
sense.
ended up working out for you just fine. I mean, you were prepared, you knew what you were going to be facing, so it looked like that went smoothly. And of course, again, you know, you've dealt with what you've been dealing with. You've been hunting for espers. You're worried you're behind. Makes sense to try to just go balls to the wall and take it as fast as you can if it's possible. So that was a pretty good call, I'd say.
For sure. And then Ceres, I appreciated, I didn't notice it right away, but I did appreciate that you equipped your secondary character versus Poltergeist with a stunner to try and force that stop. I know you didn't realize that you had stop ready on another character as a spell. That's besides the point. You still were like ready with some cool alternate strats to try and shut him down and just wrap it up, and I loved it.
Yeah, I figured it would have been a time save on Realm not having to cast stop herself, but you know, you try to do the tech. I did the in Shadow Edge that didn't end up mattering either, you know.
No, I liked that too. Like, you did some really cool alternate strats, especially because you didn't have the calmness protection. So using the Shadow Edge is something that you do not see anybody ever do ever. That might be the first time I've ever seen it done on a restream. So hats off.
Yeah, that's
I
that's
mean,
what,
really,
that's what
I
won
look
it
at
for
those
me.
and never even pick them up, so it definitely worked.
I picked them up to see if I could get something from the Coliseum for them. I couldn't.
Yeah, it seemed
Hey.
like the Coliseum was really not that goody friendly today, all things considered. It was pretty empty.
This is, for once, I wasn't thinking about the Coliseum today.
Yeah,
I
that's
had
actually
big plans
surprising.
for looting, and they
I
didn't pan
had to
out.
throw Saban, Sword Tech Setzer, then Finding Realm, having both three.
Yeah, I was actually surprised. I have actually one last question, then I'm done.
Yeah.
Actually, this will probably be for both of you, but I'll start with Sigil. Sigil, when you got that cat hood and needed money for experience eggs and stuff like that, and it was pretty early in the seed, and Floating Continent was just chilling there, what was the logic for you not to just jump right in there? And Ceres, you went to all sorts of everywhere besides there at first. You did Ebbets and some other fun stuff too. Sigil, you went straight to Jador, but what was the logic behind just not diving into Floating Continent earlier and getting that money from the grind fights, getting the levels, and just crushing it with that offense you guys had?
That was my grind check to catch up on levels to scaling.
Yes, but why not just do Floating Continent as well? Because the 3 grind fights up front.
I was saving till I was behind on scaling.
Ah, okay. That's fair. And Ceres, how about you? You rolled with Ebbets, which was interesting. Ebbets as opposed to Jador after you found that realm in the cat hood. So curious what your thought process was on that one without doing Floating Continent.
Yeah, I was still wanting another I was wanting more espers because I've been having a bad habit of getting a lot of characters. I was also kind of hoping that if I did get a character from Ebbets, it would send me to Thamasa, and then I could loot that.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I don't know. I don't know a lot of what I was doing. I mostly just had opening chests and buying stuff on my mind.
Oh
Well,
yeah,
you
I
may
mean this
not have
seed had it.
known, but you made it work. Obviously, you took it, you ran with it, and in the end, it all paid off. So I'd say not knowing really worked out in this case.
Yeah, and that was a fantastic race. But with that, that's all the questions that I got. Anything that you got?
Well,
DLK?
really, all things considered, I know, Cerise, you've been running a lot of these War with Magi seeds and everything. Kind of, where does this one rate for you in terms of goddess seeds? Is this pretty standard for what you would normally see in a goddess seed with as many as you've run?
Yeah, goddess seeds, they get you where you think you're gonna get a lot of cool treasures if you do a bunch of looting and swords, and then you just cast Ultima for an hour and a half. And this was right up there with that. And yeah, goddess seeds seem to love to give you a lot of characters for some reason. So I would say this was a pretty standard goddess seed.
So Reese,
just-
this was yeah.
Go ahead.
Sorry to interrupt. This was one of my lower looting seeds, I feel like. I'm normally in the 70s.
I was at 73.
61.
I didn't get anything for it really, other than
No.
stuff to sell to get more flame shields.
Where was Flame Shields?
South Figaro, World of Ruin.
Yeah, I never checked there.
Did you?
Yeah, I was actually kind of surprised to see that you didn't go there. So you'll normally, whenever I see that you get an Edgar, especially about the time that you got him, most often I see you take him there for those half-off shops. So I was kind of surprised to see that you didn't go there. Was there a reason that you decided to kind of skip it this time?
By the time I got Edgar, my offense was pretty set. And also, I wanted it to maybe double dip if finding Celeste. I didn't want to do a triple dip of South Figaro.
Hey, that makes perfect sense. How are you feeling through most of the seed? I know that you tend to like your big stick wacky seeds. So how were you feeling as you were kind of mulling your way through and realizing that pretty much aside from our throwing Sabin, your only set was pretty much going to be magic through the seed?
If I didn't find Ultima, I was going to buy a second experience egg. Just for Setzer.
That was something that I was a bit surprised with in terms of things. Normally my first thought, especially with having a thrower and with having sword tech fairly early on, is thinking about maybe stunner strats, especially since you found earrings, both of you did in Narsh very early beginning. Was there any reason why either one of you, why you decided to shy away from using more of the sword tech strats?
It would, at least for my thinking, I'd be using too many actions with Setzer and taking too much time. When Realm could just do her normal killing with magic and Sabin just throwing things.
Yeah, by the time I'd be using Stunner in addition to everything else, I was mostly just using Ultima anyway. And he was just on Empower Ultima duty.
Yes.
As much as I love a good Stunner strat, it can be a little hard to justify when you have Ultimas everywhere, and Summer's not doing max damage.
That and the plus magic Esper was just +1. So you really wouldn't get too close to max damage, I believe. Especially with the plus magic being the ultimate Esper.
That's true. Well, I don't think I have any other questions. So do either of you have anything interesting coming up anytime soon that you would like to kind of speak about?
I'm gonna beat physics in Doom.
Bold claim. Bring it.
Well, it's a 50-50 chance of being right or wrong.
That's true. It's good odds.
Right?
Kind of.
Sort of. Nah, nothing really going on my end.
All right, gotcha. Well, with that, then I am good. So I just want to take a little bit of time and thank you both for agreeing to hop in here and run the restream and race for the entertainment of the masses here, and also come in for a chat. We definitely appreciate it. DLK, pleasure being in the booth with you today, and of course, Drinks Glue, thank you very much for pushing the buttons in the back.
Absolutely. It has been an absolute pleasure to be able to be doing comms with you, Physics. So hopefully we'll get to do that again sometime. It has been loads of fun. And again, thank you to our racers. Without you guys, we wouldn't even have a stream. And you really put on a great show today. So thank you both.
Very much appreciated. And we are going to be heading on over to Summer Games Done Quick 2025 for Doctors Without Borders. I'm sure doesn't need much of an introduction. We're going to raid out over there for charity. But to everybody out there, thank you very much for joining us tonight, and I hope you have a great one. False, we're heading over to Jazer. He changed his mind.